Welcome to my analysis and reflection of my roleplay. This is my case study, which you can pause and read at your leisure. The aim of this session was to check in with Abby and ensure she was happy with her continued treatment and equipment. Our session began, I was mindful that we sat at a 45-degree angle and made sure that my body language was open and relaxed to encourage Abby to do the same. This was as Taylor suggested in the intentional relationship. At the beginning of our session, I could see that Abby wasn't completely relaxed. When I noticed this, I greeted her and asked her, "How is everything?" hoping she would explain why she was tense, which she did. Due to the therapeutic relationship we had built in previous sessions, I was able to help Abby feel at ease so she could explain why she was struggling. As Taylor says, building this rapport is important to make the client feel at ease. I did this through using non-verbal communications such as nodding and eye contact to indicate to Abby that she had my full attention on the conversation and I wanted to help her. However, when I watched the interaction back, I found that I was using fillers such as too many times during the session, which might have contributed to her frustration at me later on in the session. Throughout the session, I also used enrichment questions such as, "Why do you feel like this?" to demonstrate my curiosity about the client and wish to know more about her needs. I was able to understand the reason why she didn't want to use the assistive technology through this. It was because she was concerned about her family and friends treating her differently when they saw the equipment. I reassured her that although she didn't like the look of them, they were necessary to help her achieve her occupation. If I had assumed she was just being stubborn about the equipment, this could have damaged our interpersonal relationship. I felt the need to address her worries at the beginning of the session so that her worries would not absorb all her attention and focus from the main aim of the session. I decided to use an empathic mode to encourage her to open up and feel heard about her concerns. Taylor explains that the use of this mode is effective when trying to encourage your client to challenge their negative thoughts. As Pollock also states, using this mode means to convey respect for clients' personal dignity, which I was conscious of because I knew Abby was very house-proud. This meant I could help Abby reflect on why she felt frustrated without making guesses and allowing her to come to her own conclusions. By using summary statements such as, "I'm really sorry to hear that, and that must be really frustrating," I was able to ensure that Abby knew I was listening to all of her concerns. It also allowed me to clarify what she was saying so there was no miscommunication. She explained that the reason for her current mood was because she couldn't travel to see her family at this very important time for her, because she is Catholic. As Carys states, religion is a very important occupation for many people, and by doing and participating in this activity, people are more likely to engage with their therapy. When Abby told me she was feeling disconnected from her family, I decided to use a problem-solving strategy to suggest some alternative methods, such as FaceTime, to help her feel more connected. By addressing her initial concerns, I helped reduce her worry over seeing her family, which allowed us to focus back on the current reason for our session, which was to check she was happy with her current equipment. However, I should have laid this out more clearly at the beginning of the session to make sure we both understood the aim of the session. I also used a problem-solving strategy when I suggested we should look at a catalogue to see if there were any other designs that would better suit her taste. This was effective as she was happy to look at alternatives. At the end of the interaction, I needed to encourage her to continue to persevere with her equipment, as it's the most effective way for her to continue with her occupations. For example, I told her, "You're doing really well, don't be too hard on yourself." I felt this was effective, but would need to be reiterated by others to keep her motivated. Abby became angry during the session because she felt like she wasn't being heard and was frustrated by her situation. Because Abby stood up, I decided to use an instructive strategy and asked her firmly to sit down. Due to the therapeutic relationship which we had previously built, I knew this would be effective, but I was ready to react if the situation changed or escalated. Taylor says, during an expression of strong emotion, it is important to emphasize and encourage, which I believe I did by saying, "I want to work with you and make sure you're getting the help you need," and by saying that must be very difficult. By asking Abby to sit down and then giving her time to react without overloading her, she was able to calm herself down and reflect on her actions without further escalation. Using Burton's model of reflection of what, so what, now what, I will reflect on the areas where I think I could have improved. When Abby got angry and stood up, I should have also stood up to ensure I was not in the wrong position if her anger escalated. I would also refrain from using sayings such as "I understand" in the future, as it's provoked a negative response from Abby and would likely do so with other clients. I would try to be more conscious of this in the future.